was sitting in Starbucks, trying to get this damn work project done. I was working on my laptop and suddenly my screen glitched. A massive black box covered the spreadsheet I was working on. My first reaction was utter annoyance. I searched for a way to close it down and get back to my task, but nothing seemed to work. Right as I was about to restart my laptop, a message appeared in the black box. Oops, looks like you've lost your connection to the internet. Please choose one of the browsers below to reconnect the message. Read. I tried everything to get rid of the box, even rebooting my device. Still nothing worked. I figured it was either a problem with the Wi-Fi or someone trying to hack people from inside the coffee shop. Right as I was about to leave, another line of text appeared, this one slightly smaller private server. Heaven would like to connect with you. Press enter to continue it. Read. I sat back down and took out a small flash drive from my pocket. I always keep one handy in case of a computer crash. I plugged it into the side of the laptop and quickly took off all of my personal info along with the business stuff before finally clicking enter. The screen glitched again and a few random icons popped up, some of which had very bizarre names. Cloud9 Perg downstairs, just to name a few. I felt compelled to click on the first file and immediately was presented with a long Excel worksheet that had at least 100 names on it, maybe more. I started to scroll down and see if I could actually even reach the bottom of the list, trying to remember how much space these normally had. The data cap used for the document was staggering, at least a terabyte full of information. It had to have taken years to compile something so massive, I thought. Millions of names and people. The details given by the documents were overwhelming too. It had names, addresses, phone numbers, and even credit card information. I suddenly felt very unsafe sitting there. I typed in my own name into the program. It listed off my current living conditions, marital status, and even the name of my kids. A text line then appeared that made me white as a ghost. Status: alive. What the hell had I stumbled upon? Then a chat box opened up. Have you made arrangements for your afterlife? I shut everything down and rushed home, too frightened to consider the reality of what I had stumbled upon. I kept thinking it was a bad dream, but every time I checked my computer, I was still connected. Finally, I worked up the courage to type a response. What do you want from me? I asked. A chill ran up and down my spine at their answer. Your soul, it responded when I asked. Soon, unless you have something else to offer. I thought about it. Was I really making a gamble with the Almighty for a longer life? A chance to stay alive? I decided to call their bluff and typed in the random name of a coworker. If this was fake, it would be easy to prove. As soon as I finished entering the name of my coworker, the connection was lost. I thought maybe that was the end of it. But the next day I heard over gossip that the coworker I had given the name of was in a coma when the news hit me. I couldn't help but to feel sick. This was my fault. After work, I went back to that Starbucks, hoping to reconnect to this divine website. Instead, I saw a man dressed in blood-red robes sitting in my usual spot. The contract is finished. Congratulations, you can access our network anytime. Now, the man said with an evil grin, you're not a guardian angel. It was never heaven at all, was it? I realized as his cold hand touched my shoulder. He laughed wickedly. You might be surprised. All of a sudden, the world displayed across my computer screen. It was Earth, but the view was from space. A red box appeared on my screen. That surrounded Earth text flashed across the screen. It read, target acquired. My heart fell through the ground. Who was targeting Earth? Could it be another country? Maybe Russia, an alien race? Possibly. Who would want to destroy the whole Earth? Cold sweat ran down my neck as I retracted how I even got here. As a cybersecurity analyst, I never considered my job of any importance. My workdays were rather mundane. I mostly dealt with small companies and mostly dealt with government contracts. My horrifying ordeal all started when I traveled to downtown Chicago for work. My task was to enhance a company's cybersecurity system. I finished up the job and left the building while walking back to my car, a dark van with tinted windows. The side door opened and 3 men, dressed in all black yanked. Me in a bag was draped over my head, and I felt the cold barrel of a gun shoved against my neck. Hours passed by, and then the bag was finally removed. I opened my eyes and looked around. I was in a huge, empty airline hangar. There were 3 officers standing in front of me with unmarked uniforms. One of them said, "Your country needs you. Your skills can save all of us." Me. How could I possibly do that? I replied one of them. Officers motioned for me to follow him. He led me to a confined room within the hangar. It contained a massive server tower and a few computers inside. There is a threat out there, and we are attempting to locate it. Your skills may prove useful. So what do you say? Do you want to help us? Yes. I knew it. Probably didn't have a choice in this matter. If I refused, they would likely force me to do their dirty work anyways. I played along and replied yes. I would love to be of assistance. The officer filled me in on the details. We've recently detected signals across the internet, which seem to be coming from a source other than our planet at first. We thought maybe these were random signals that couldn't be properly triangulated. However, after a deeper search was made, we discovered that none of them seemed to have any of the same type of coding that we use here. All the messages seem to be originating from one particular dark website. We aren't entirely sure if these are extraterrestrial messages, but we want to be open to the possibility, just in case. You're telling me aliens might be using the dark web to send us signals? I asked the officer, responded that possibility is still on the table. We will provide all the intel we have gathered thus far. Perhaps you can track down the source from there. The officer gave me a handful of encrypted messages and their source code along with the website's URL. I was fascinated by the complex algorithms used to encrypt these messages. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before. It took almost all night, but I did manage to break through their decrypted messages. Shocked me. It seemed to be a conversation between 3 people or beings. The usernames were 12x53 and Stu. These were most certainly code names. X53 started the conversation by saying we need to eliminate them. At 12 replied no. We put them on this planet for a reason. Much of their technology has also proven useful for us. They are also in the process of building advanced artificial intelligence systems. They are on track to merge with machines like our civilization did 300 years ago. Once they completely merged with we can reveal ourselves to them and fix their planetary problems. Stu jumped in. I agree with X53. The human experiment was on a good track, but their evil tendencies will be their downfall, and they could actually harm us with artificial intelligence. A 12 replied, even if an evil country develops a sentient we already put in a proper protocols to stop it. Humans have a unique perspective, and they could be useful in helping us figure out the questions of the universe. I didn't know what to make of the messages. I decided to go to the dark website link where these messages were originally extracted from. The link brought me to a dark screen. All of a sudden, a video feed of our planet popped up. Above the video feed was the same strange code as before, but my algorithm translated it almost instantly. Target acquired it right above the video. This had to be a bad dream, but it only got worse from there. Within the source code, I found logs of missiles with trajectory calculations for major capitals, not just in our country, but all around the world. Then, to my utter shock, a chat box opened. I recognized the username as an earlier one. It was typing in plain English. It was X53. My stomach churned. You've shown exceptional skills for one of your kind. He typed, what do you want with us? I dared to ask his response. Made me shudder. Your planet is not suitable for life. Your kind do not deserve it. Therefore, it has been scheduled for destruction in 70 years. He told me there are billions of people here. They'll all die. I anxiously typed back extermination of the human species is the only option, he responded. I felt defeated and frustrated. But I felt like I could reason with him. So I asked then, why tell me any of this if it is futile? You are different. We would like to make an offer to you. He sent me longitude and latitude. Coordinates. They triangulated to a position not far from my house. Think it over. Save yourself. Damned alongside your entire race. I wrote the coordinates on a piece of paper and shoved it in my pocket. I then deleted the conversation I had with X-53. The uniformed officers returned a few hours later. I told them everything besides my secret conversation. I would like to go home now. Demanded 6 hours later. I was dropped back off in the same black van, without so much as a thank you. I knew they would likely try their hardest to defeat the alien menace. But by then, I will already be gone. A word of advice. Pray to be abducted too. It may be your only hope. I did a lot of digging, mostly out of boredom, and stumbled upon one of the most messed up things I've ever seen. It was called Animals and Nightmare. It appears to be down now, and as the title might hint at it, was a site for people to share videos and pictures of them torturing animals. Most of the users seemed to get off to it. The mutilation and suffering of animals. It chilled me to the bone to see some of the replies to a guy beating his dog with a piece of metal, saying stuff like, "Kill him, shove it." Inside of him, another such comments. No animal was sacred. You lose a lot of faith in humanity after seeing 2 guys tortured to death 4-month-old puppy using dildos and a knife. But the worst part had to be their preferred method of disposing of the animal's corpse. I mean, you can't just leave a Peps fighting like that anywhere it is. Easy to tell that the poor creature was tortured to death, so they had to get creative roadkill. But the animal's body on a rural road where most aren't likely to come by and run it over a few times. It will be mangled beyond belief, and anyone who comes to pick it up will think it was hit by a car, and no one care enough to avoid it. Remember that next time you see